Dear students, time, tense and aspect. That is the topic of our class today. What is time? What is tense? What is aspect? You have studied tense in previous classes, in your lower classes. Today what we are going to do is that just relating the time with the tense and aspect. How can we do it? Let's try. Look at the next slides and you can see how these three things are correlated: time, tense and aspect. Tense is a term that refers to the way verbs change their form in order to indicate at which time a situation occurs or an event takes place. Here you see, tense is a term that refers to the way verbs change their form. Here, what happens in a tense? In a tense, the verbs change their form, their shape, in order to indicate at which time a situation occurs. So, what is the duty of a verb in a tense? The verb will always change its shape. For what purpose it is changing its shape? In order to indicate, for that purpose. What is the purpose? To indicate, to show a time situation occurs or an event takes place. Which time something is happening, which time or what is happening, and these things that is going to happen will change always. So in order to indicate that change, the verb will change its form. The verb will vary its shape. So a verb's duty is to change its shape in order to indicate a time or situation. So that is tense. So in a tense, the verb is always changing its shape to indicate a time, a situation. And what is time and tense? Time and tense are not overlapping concepts, though tense is related to time. There is no one-to-one correspondence between the two. Tense is a grammatical category rather than with reality. It has to do with how events are placed, seen and referred to along the past, present, future timeline. Here in tense, I already told you that the verb is just changing its shape. And here in time, what is happening? The time and tense is not overlapping concept. The tense is related to time. Tense is always related to time. Then there is no one-to-one correspondence, means relation between the two. Tense is a grammatical category. Tense is always coming under the grammatical category rather than with reality. It has to do with how events are placed and seen, referred to along the past, present, future timeline. So in order to indicate this tense, we are using three categories, which are past, present and future timeline. Really, this tense and time has a correlation, but how it is, you see, the tense we use to show three categories of time, that is past, present, future. Okay, that is timeline. So a type of relation is there with time and tense. Next, aspect. Aspect is a grammatical category that reflects the perspective from which an action situation is seen, as complete, in progress, having duration. So what is aspect then? Aspect means, as I told you earlier, this tense has a verb, and that verb is always changing. And aspect means how this verb is changing. Sometime it will be in progress. For example, do will change sometime as doing. That is in progress. You understand? Some verb will change in progress. Some change will show the duration. Some verb will show the duration. Some verb will show the beginning and ending or being repeated. So all these are related with the aspect. English has two aspects. Here mainly we have to study about two aspects. That is one. The first one is progressive, also called continuous, and perfect. In English, really only has two aspects that are progressive and perfect. Progressive means also continuous. Verbs that are not marked for aspect, majority of them are not, are said to have simple aspect. Then some verbs are not relating to these things. It is known as the simple aspect. In British English, the perfect aspect is much more common than American English. Since Americans often use the past simple, where Britain use the present perfect. These are the some differences between the two English, British English and American English. So anyway, let's go to the next one. Simply we can say what is tense and aspect. Here I have given a simple method or to understand the difference between these two. First one, basic concepts, tense and aspect. Tense in verbs expresses time. You see, tense in verbs expresses time. It is referenced to the moment of speaking. So tense is the expression of verbs. How the verbs will change its shape. This way it will indicate the time. And what is aspect? Aspect expresses how the speaker views the action of the verb. That is the difference. Tense is just showing the it is just expressing the time, whereas aspect, what it is doing, it is just showing the views. It is showing the views of the speaker and how the action of the verb is occurring. Okay, this is the difference between tense and aspect. It is the view of the speaker, how this action is going on. You see how the action is going on. Sometimes it will be in continuous, sometimes it will be in simple method. So here already we told you now, there are only two aspects in English. First one is what? Continuous and perfect. Okay, so here this perfect, speaker views in action of the verb. Sometimes it will be in continuous or it will be in perfect. It is especially in British English, not in American English. Next, lexical aspect. Lexical aspect refers to semantic properties of the verb. Semantic properties of the verbs, for example, whether or not an action is characterized by duration, an end point, or change. So as per this change, some variations will happen in this lexical aspect. Verbs fall into four categories in terms of lexical aspect: stative verbs and dynamic verbs. In some grammar books, this will have some changes. You need not worry about it. If you search in some grammar books, this dynamic verbs will not be seen there. Anyway, we can also understand this one is the way of lexical aspect. Verbs fall into four categories. Verbs fall into four categories in terms of lexical aspect. One is stative verbs, and second one is there are four total. In total, there are four. But firstly, we are just going to divide it as stative verb and dynamic verb. What is dynamic verb? That will be defined later. Stative verbs. What is stative verb? Stative verbs describe states or situations rather than action. States are continuous and unchanging and can be emotional, physical, or cognitive. So stative verb is a verb. In simple way, we can define it as a verb that is not moving. Okay, for example, it is mostly related to our emotional things or physical or cognitive. See, cognitive means they are about our thought. Then and can be emotional, physical, or cognitive. States are continuous and unchanging. So these stative verbs are, you see this line, these stative verbs are continuous and unchanging situation, but sometimes we cannot see that one. That is stative means without changing. Okay, here example, she hates her boss. Hate, she does not like her boss. That is hate, she does not like. Hate means here does not, she hates means does not like. So she hates her boss. We cannot see or we cannot view this hating. Okay, because it is what? Emotional thing or a cognitive thing. So hit. This type of verbs are known as stative verbs. We cannot see it. Next one is what? Activity verbs. It expresses actions that go on for a potentially indefinite period of time. Activity verbs, that is related to some activities. For example, run, swim, walk. These things we can see, or we can watch, or we can view. So run, swim, walk, decline, develop, regrow. Then activity verbs are again classified into adulative verbs. He is walking, like an end point. He is walking around the park. Adulative verb. Next. So here the first one, stative verbs, then adulative verb, adulative verbs, and achievement verbs. What is achievement verb? Describe an action that occurs instantaneously, either punctually. Here you see hit, kick, bounce, or as a change of state. It is this verb is just changing its state. For example, find. Okay. Achievement verbs. He bounced the ball several times. You see, he bounced the ball several times. A punctual activity. Bounced. She crossed the finish line. It is change of state, because now this statement, crossed, what happens to this? Finish the line, cross the finish line. One line is there, but just crossed it. She just crossed it. So the state is changing. Crossing, she is crossing, so the state is changing. So this way it is defined. Accomplishment verbs have a termination that is logical in terms of their action, as is the case, for example, with build a house or paint a picture. A termination that is logical in terms of the action. It is just changing the shape. Okay, changing the shape. A termination that is logical in terms of their action. In that case, for example, with build or paint, we are using accomplishment verbs. Example: he wrote a book about language teaching. After finishing this writing, everything is over. So, example: he wrote a book about language teaching. A few tense aspect combinations in English. Here, this one, English uses 12 tense aspect combination. What are they? It is derived from the three tenses, which are the past, present, and future. From past, it is deriving simple past, past perfect, past continuous, like that. And the same way, out of these three tenses, we are just making the other 12. So in total we will get 12 tenses in English: simple present, simple past, simple future, present progressive, past progressive, future progressive, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present perfect, progressive, past perfect, progressive, future perfect, progressive. Okay, in total we will get 12 tenses. Then simple present, simple past, present perfect, past perfect. Simple present will go to present perfect, simple past, past perfect. Simple future, future perfect. Present progressive, past progressive, present progressive, perfect progressive, past progressive. Already we discussed it. Studying just 6 of these 12 will be enough to help us understand how tense and aspect are used in English. So out of which we are just going to learn only 6. I mentioned you that there are 12 tenses in English, but out of which we are now just going to study only 6 tenses. What are they? Simple present, simple past, present progressive, past progressive, present perfect, past perfect. I think you have studied these tenses in your previous class. I think it is in first sum book transactions. You have studied these 6 tenses. Let's go to it a little bit deep, then you will get more ideas about it. Verbs in English have 3 forms: eat, ate, eaten, walk, walked, walked. What is this? These are the forms of verbs. 3 forms of verbs. We will also call this as verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Okay? So verbs in English have 3 forms: walk, walked, walked. This one is present, past, and past participle. In short, we are calling it verb 1, V2, V3. V1, V2, V3. Okay. Okay, it is given here. Walk, walked, walked. Verbs in English have three forms: V1, V2, V3. For each tense aspect combination, we must consider form, meaning, and use. So tense, in order to understand the tense and aspect, we must also consider form, meaning, and use. What are they? Form, meaning, and use. These three components of grammar study focus on accuracy, meaningfulness, and appropriateness. Tense aspect combinations. Let's consider some of the one by one. Simple present. First, what is the form? Form 1. Birds fly, people walk. You see here in simple present, subject is here. Birds, not bird. There are many birds. Birds fly, people walk. Symbol is the aspect, present is the tense. You see? What is here? Symbol. Aspect is symbol and present is the tense. Meaning, use. Simple present is used most often to express habits, timeless truths, natural facts, scheduled events. Okay, habits. We are just going to define what it is. Habits, timeless truth, natural fact, scheduled events. I usually eat at 7 o'clock. It's a habit. The time is money, timeless truth. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, natural fact. The box office opens at 6, scheduled event. See here in this example, habits, timeless truth, natural fact, everything will be used in simple present. Simple present. You see, eat. Eat. There is no yes. If the subject is singular, apart from I, we will use verb 1 with in simple present. Time is money, timeless truth. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, it is natural fact. So all these things, habit, timeless truth, natural fact, scheduled event, everything will be used in simple present. The box office opens, you see, opens at 6 o'clock. Simple present is also often used with the stative verbs. The other usages of simple present. Stative verbs are usually show states, condition, or relationships, but not an action. Admire, agree, care, love, all these things. Doubt, because these are some mental activities, you see, cognitive one. Okay, so all these verbs most of the time will be used in simple present tense. What are they? Admire, agree, care, doubt, consider. We cannot see this one. You see, fear, it is like electricity. We cannot see that one. However, we are just experiencing it. The same way we are just experiencing these feelings. We cannot see this one. You see, imagine, consider, doubt, wish, appear, be, feel, resemble, seem, weigh, belong, on, represent. Okay, next. Some stative and dynamic verbs compared. Stative this one, dynamic this one. Admire, stative, not moving, not changing. Agree, care, want, wish, appear. The same one here you see. Eat, we can see eating. Go, sleep, study, dance, laugh. Everything can be seen, but dynamic means also just moving. It is moving, and this one is not moving. Okay, stative and dynamic. Learning Spanish is difficult. This is simple sentence using in stative verbs. Learning Spanish is difficult. Susan owns a red sports car. The baby doesn't like. The room smells. Mary looks. How this one is using? I am just going to tell you how we are using yes or without yes. Susan is a singular subject. So we are using, if the subject is singular, we are using a yes with the verb 1, on, owns. If it is Susan and Mary, then we will use only on, because subject is now not singular, it is plural. If the subject is plural, we are using verb 1. If the subject is singular, we are using verb 1 plus yes. This is the rule to create simple sentence. So here we can see Mary looks. Mary is only one, so looks. Room is only one, so smells. Okay, guess line. So this way we are just choosing this in a sentence structure. Simple present sometimes shows that the action is complete or unchanging. Again, we are just talking about simple present. About an action or unchanging or complete action, we are also using simple present. For more correctly, this completeness idea is a characteristic of simple aspect. This completeness idea is an important point and is sometimes difficult to grasp. More about completeness and aspect later. Simple past. Next, what is the form of simple past? It is the form of V2. I already told you, we showed an example there in previous slide. I just showed you an example. What is eat, ate, eaten, in which the eat is the first verb and ate is the second verb. So here in always simple past, the verb will be verb 2. Okay, verb 2, that means past. Always it will be past, verb 2. Eat, ate, eaten, that is ate. Go, went, gone, there is went, that is past. The same way. Example, Susan walked. You see walked, walked, walked. Past is the tense. Meaning use. Simple past is used most often to express action that began and entered in the past. So in simple past, how we are using a tense, a verb that began in a time, specific time, and that ended in a specific time. That is simple past. Okay. Examples of simple past action. You see here there are many examples. Susan went, I woke up, the stock market collapsed, WW second ended, World War second ended in 1945. I finished reading. So at the time of speaking about these events, it has already entered. It has a beginning and it has entered. Okay. So this is the way of using simple past actions. Each of these actions began and ended in the past. It already started in the past and it already finished in the past. So this type of verbs we are using in simple past. Next, present progressive. That means present continuous. Present continuous. Progressive is also used as continuous. Form is, am, are plus verb plus ing. Is, am, are. It is the form of present progressive. Here you see Susan is traveling. Why we use is here? Because Susan is alone here. She is one. If the subject is singular, we are using is. Only in case of I, we are using am. I am. All other subject verb. All other subjects are if the subjects are singular, in all other cases we are using only is. Okay. Only with the I we are using am. Susan is traveling, Larry is resting. Larry is resting. Present is the tense, progressive is the aspect. First, before we analyze further, let's look at the sentence that uses present progressive. I am reading a book. I am reading a book. This we can consider in two ways. My nose is on the page right now. The book is at the home. The book is at home next to my bed. Before I fall asleep, I spend some time with this book almost every night. I am on page 236. Present progressive is used most often to express action that is not finished at the moment of speaking. Then I told you that a simple past that began in a past and also ended in a past. But in present progressive, what is the mode of using? Is an action that is not finished at the moment of speaking. That is the very important thing, very meaningful thing here that you have to note. What is that? This action is not finished at the time of speaking, at the moment of speaking. For example, you see this example. Not finished at the moment of speaking can include extended time. I am reading a book right now. For example, you are reading a book. At that time, a friend of you just came to your house. So you can say to that friend that you are reading a book. So that still you are reading, that book is with you now, that book is in your hand. That time you can say that I am reading a book. At the moment of speaking, that you are doing that action. So I am reading a book right now. You see, right now I am reading. Now I am just presenting this slideshow for you. So I can say I am just taking the class, because now I am doing that. So at the time of speaking, what you are doing, you can just mention it here. I am reading a book, but not right now. That way also we can say, but not right. I'm reading a book. For example, you are just meeting your friend in college, and your friend is asking about your whereabouts, asking about your hobby. That time you can say to that person, I am reading a book. But really you are not reading the book that time. You are in the class, and you are just telling about that book. You are reading a book, but not that time. In this case also we can use that present progressive. I am majoring in biology. We are thinking of getting married. Marriage is not going on that time, but they are thinking about it. They are planning to move to the idea of not finished can also be considered in several additional interesting ways. Consider the following example, then you will get idea. I live in Hong Kong, but I am living in LA. Does it make sense to have simple aspect and progressive aspect appear in the same sentence? I live in Hong Kong, but I am living in LA. Consider the following example. What is this? The idea of not finished and be considered in several additional interesting ways. What is the how it is just made that change here? You see, simple aspect and progressive aspect appear in the same sentence. I live. You see, it is simple. I live, and I am living. LA. Okay. Here the both are coming in the same sentences. Same sentence. The meaning of not finished can be extended to include actions or conditions that are seen as temporary, incomplete, developing, changing, or easy to fix. Here, for this purpose also we are using temporary, incomplete, developing, changing, or easy to fix. This type of actions also be included in verbs in progressive aspect. Sometimes carry a feeling of change or temporariness. What is? Larry is living with his sister. Susan is having problems with her computer. You see, having problems, living. So here the sometimes carry a feeling of change or temporariness. Only Larry is living with his sister now. It is a temporary action. She will change later. Susan is having problems. It is also a temporary problem. It will change later. So it is temporariness. Usually verbs with stative meanings do not appear in progressive form, but they can if the meaning is temporary or developing. Note, verbs with stative meaning do not appear in progressive form. A stative verb will not appear in progressive form. Most of the time it is not happening so. But they can if the meaning is temporary or developed. But sometime it will do. Example. You see, always we are using simple present. Susan resembles her mother. Resembles means the shape is the same shape. She is getting the same shape of her mother. Susan resembles her mother. Susan is resembling her mother. Strange in most contexts. We are not using resembling. ing form, that means progressive or continuous tense, because a resemble is a stative verb. You see, stative verb. So but in some context it is using. Most of the time we are using only this simple present form. Okay, your answer seems to make senses. Your answer is seeming to make senses. Most context, your answer seems to make senses. This way you are using. Okay, verbs with stative meaning usually do not like progressive aspect. In most cases they also do not like imperative mood. but sometimes even a verb with stative meaning can appear in the progressive aspect. The stative verb carries a temporary or developing meaning. All these things are about stative verbs. My boss is being uncooperative. How are you liking dorm life? Be and like usually do not appear with the progressive aspect, but here the meaning is temporary or developing. You see, the word be is not using in progressive tense, ing form, and liking. We are always using like, not liking. But here we are using liking. Why? Because the meaning is temporary or developing. How are you liking dorm life? So here only this one is a temporary life. So we are using ing form with like verb 1. So progressive aspect is okay. In this case, progressive aspect makes sense. So only in some cases we are using such a way. Present progressive can be used to express the future. Next we are talking about present progressive. That is future if the future action is part of a planned activity. Future, past is already gone. Future, what is future? It is not finished yet. It is not done yet. It is coming. It is a forthcoming period. Okay, so it's an upcoming event. That is future. So how can we define it? Future is a question. Every time future is a question before us. Always if it is possible, if it is done so, like that. If is the. I can't come to your party on Saturday night because I will leave on Saturday morning. This may happen or this also may happen. I can't come to your party on Saturday. This party is on Saturday, next Saturday. Sometime it will happen. This party will be conducted. Sometime it will be just avoided. Okay. So the same way this also, because I will leave on Saturday. Sometime he will leave on Saturday. Sometime he cannot go on Saturday. Because we cannot predict the future. So I can't come. But here, what is the reason? I can't come to your party. The person who is talking this says, I can't come. I can come to your party on Saturday night because I will leave on Saturday morning. I can come to your party on Saturday night because I leave on Saturday morning. I can come to your party on Saturday night because I am leaving on Saturday morning. 3 examples. Everything is same, but only this verb is changing. First one is I will leave. I leave. I am leaving. What's here? Which one is correct? Everything is correct. Okay. I will leave on Saturday morning. I will leave on Saturday morning. I leave on Saturday morning. I am leaving on Saturday morning. I will have a meeting on Saturday morning. I have a meeting on Saturday morning. I am having a meeting on Saturday morning. Consider 3. I have a meeting. I have a headache on Saturday morning. I am having meeting on Saturday morning. I am having a headache on Saturday morning. Consider 3. I have a meeting on Saturday morning. I have a headache on Saturday morning. I am having a meeting on Saturday morning. I am having a headache on Saturday morning. Past progressive. What is the form? Was, were, plus ing. We were eating dinner when the phone rang. Past is the sense. Past is the tense. Progressive is the aspect. Meaning use. Past progressive is usually used in one of 3 ways to show that an unfinished action occurred at a particular time in the past. here you see, to show that an unfinished action occurred at a particular time in the past. Past, unfinished. Past, unfinished. Example, at 8 o'clock last night I was taking a shower. To show that an unfinished action in the past was interrupted by another action in the past. Here you see, at 8 o'clock last night I was taking a shower. I was taking a shower. Something interrupted that action. Interrupted that action. Example 2. While I was taking a shower, a gorilla walked in. A gorilla walked in. Here also that action has been interrupted. Okay. To show two unfinished actions occurring at the same time in the past. What are they? Two unfinished actions occurring at the same time in the past. While I was taking a shower, my sister was washing dishes. Was. Two actions. Past progressive usually occurs only in sentence with either two clauses or a time expression. When I was eating, the phone rang. Here, first clause and two clause. The phone rang. We already in the last class we discussed this. This is a independent clause and this one is a dependent clause. So here are the two clauses. First one is when I was eating, the phone rang. The phone rang. So in past progressive, that means past continuous, two clauses will happen or a time expression. At 8 o'clock I was taking a shower. Time expression. At 8 o'clock I was taking a shower. It can occur in a sentence with a single clause if a time related sentence is nearby. Last night I called the police. Our neighbors were making too much noise. I called were making. This is the difference. I called were making. The first one is in simple past and this one is in past progressive. Next, perfect. Have 3. Verb 3. Always you must understand while we are using in past perfect, you are using verb 3. Verb 3. For example, eat, ate, eaten, go, went, gone. Always we have to use verb 3, meaning uses shows that the fact or results of that action is more important than the time of the action. So why we are using this perfect? Perfect is to denote the more important thing than the time of the action and to show the fact or result. Usually shows the action before another time. Usually follows one of our basic types of for uses. You must understand all these things. Why we are using this perfect? Answer is all this. Usually follows one of 4 basic types for uses. Perfect aspect for basic meaning or uses. A focus on action within a box of time beginning in the past and including the moment of speaking, quoting. A focus on experience. A focus on result. A focus on immediate past. So here action starting in the past and still it is continuing. Here in order to show experience and result and immediate past. Then present is the tense, perfect is the aspect here. Present perfect has or have plus verb 3. Okay. Box of time. Present perfect. I have worn glasses all my life. I have worn glasses means specs all my life. So the duration of time you see it's box of time. All his life. All his life. I wore glasses all my life. Simple past. Here, what is the difference? The present perfect action occurred inside a box of time. But the exact time it began or occurred is not known or not important. We know that the action started before now, but we cannot be sure that the action ended in the past. So here you see, we cannot define what time he used these classes. At what time he used these classes, it is not mentioned here, it is not shown here. But however, we know that the person who has been using this for many years, for many a time. You see, I have worn glasses all my life. I wore glasses all my life. This is the difference. So in a box of time means that exact time it began or occurred is not known. That is box of time. We don't know, we cannot understand what time he started using this glasses. So this is box of time. Compare present perfect, simple past. I have served a mission. I served a mission. What is the difference? I have served a mission. I served a mission. Oh really? How was it? Oh really? When? You see, this is the difference. Present perfect, the meaning is same. If in first of all, at sometime at a first thought we will think that this is right. All the meaning is right. All the meanings are same. But there are some difference between these two. What are they? I have served a mission. I have completed a mission. I have served a mission. I have done a mission. Oh really? How was it? How was that mission? The same question is given here. Oh really? When? Here in simple past, a served a mission is always denoting a time. When? Here it is the shape of how it happened. How it happened. Okay? This is the differences. Then present perfect types to experiences. Compare. You see, present perfect. I have served a mission. Or really, how was it? I served a mission. Or really, when? Although the distinction is not absolute, present perfect seems to focus more on what happened. Always present perfect is focusing on what happened. What happened. And simple past allows more focus on when. This is the difference. In simple way, we can define this. Simple past is always about when. It is always about time. And present perfect, it is always about how it happened or what happened. See? So this is about time. This is how. Just see the difference. Then present perfect, I have broken my watch. I broke my watch. Broken. Okay. In this case, result present perfect and simple past have almost the same meaning. Here, there is no difference. I have broken my watch. I broke my watch. I have decided not to marry you. I decided not to marry you. Both sentences make sense, and the meaning is essentially the same. However, present perfect slightly emphasizes the results of the action and not the action itself. Both sentences make sense. The meaning is essentially the same. If you just look at the meaning of these two sentences, it is same. We will get the same meaning. However, present perfect slightly emphasizes the results. I have decided not to marry you. Results of the action and not the action itself. Here the decision is as a result of something. I have decided. There is something happened in his life. Something happened badly in his life about that girl or that boy. So she or he decided not to marry him or her. This is the different. Here sometimes there will not be too much reason for this decision. She just simply decided. Okay, this is the decision. But here some reasons will be there. So this is a result. The results of the reasons. Okay. I have just finished my homework. I finished my homework. Here what happens? In some cases, both may have same meaning. However, present perfect emphasizes that the action finished immediately before now. You see, present perfect. Just now I finished. For example, as I told you earlier, one of your friends just came to your house. That time you were doing a work, but at the moment he entered your room, you just finished it. That time you can tell him that you just finished your homework. Okay. So at the moment. 1 or 2 minutes ago or a moment ago, if you just finished something, you can say I have just finished it. I finished my homework. Here this time is not specific. What time you finished, you don't know. The one thing what we know about it is that you just finished it. Present perfect reinforced by certain verbs. A box of time reinforced by for, since, all, my life, and a few others. Experience reinforced by our, never, already, yet, before, and a few others. Result reinforced by none in particular. Immediate past reinforced by just. Present perfect is not just another way to express past action. It is not the same as simple past. Present perfect and simple past is not the same. There are 4 different types of meaning. Box of time, experiences, results, immediate past. However, we should remember that present perfect result is almost always interchangeable with the simple past. Present perfect of type 1, 2 and 4 are not interchangeable with simple past. The meanings are usually quite different. So, simple past and present perfect meaning are sometimes we will think that is the same, but quite different will be that. Past perfect had plus verb 3 to emphasize that one past action occurred earlier than another. Past perfect generally requires 2 actions in the past. If you use past perfect with only one past action, you usually have a mistake. Past perfect with one action. Past perfect emphasizes which of 2 actions is earlier. Sometimes native speakers will use simple past instead of past perfect if the meaning is clear and cannot be confused. Native speakers have many choices. Sometimes they will use the simple past instead of past perfect, but the listener should be clear about it. Then they can use simple past with instead of past perfect. This way they are using it. I came downstairs at 6 o'clock to see if Santa Claus had visited our house. The cookies and milk that I had left for him had not been touched. Not usually, past perfect is used with the 2 actions in the same sentence. However, the actions can appear in different sentences if the time relationship is clear. I came down. You see, I came down. Had visited. Had left. The verbs here. Came down is simple past. Had visited. Past perfect. Had left. Past perfect. Then 2 actions, same sentence. So these are the some aspect of our class. Next, let's go to the slides once again for more for further reading. Anyway, you can just do it yourself. Let's stop it here. Thanks for watching, and don't hesitate to ask me if you have any doubt. Okay, let's wind up. Goodbye.